From your Revere TV studio on Broadway, it's the Revere Review with your hosts, Debbie DiGiulio and Ed DeVoe.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to this edition of the Revere Review, Revere TV's bi-weekly program dedicated to covering news in Revere. I'm Ed DeVoe.
And I'm Debbie Pesca DiGiulio. Starting our news segment this week is an update on approval of the special permit for FKO's proposed project at 85 Broadway. At its meeting held on March 27th, the City Council Zoning Committee identified three primary issues that they feel need to be adequately addressed before they are willing to send the permit back to the Council for a full vote. The issues were, number one, the presentation and review of the 21E certificate to establish that the contamination issue on that site has been properly dealt with. Two, a report from the city's traffic officer regarding the impact of the pickup and drop-off activity on traffic in that area. And three, finalization of the payment in lieu of taxes agreement. This agreement will provide some compensation to the city in place of property taxes the city can no longer collect on the property due to FKO's nonprofit status. While a majority of the zoning committee indicated that they support the FKO project and believe it will ultimately be good for the city, they felt that these questions needed to be addressed before they can vote favorably on the permit. FKO Executive Director Debbie Nealon Keegan made an impassioned plea for approval of the permit and stated that FKO's work in the city will continue uninterrupted somewhere regardless of when the project is approved and the work is completed.
In another continuing news story, there have been a number of developments related to the proposed casino in East Boston and Revere. Suffolk Downs has announced a series of dates to present their recently completed 3D scale model of the casino that they are proposing to build. Revere residents have been invited to a special viewing from 6 to 8 p.m. on April 11th at Suffolk Downs. There will also be a viewing for the general public on Saturday, April 13th from 11 a.m. to 1 p.m.
In other casino-related news, Vornado Realty Trust, one of the three major partners in the Suffolk Downs casino bid, has decided to sell their 20% stake in the project. At the Mass Gaming Commission meeting on March 28th, it was revealed that 11 of Vornado's 14 principals informed the Commission that they did not want to participate in the background investigations that are required of all participants involved in the various casino bids. As a result, Vornado was advised to sell their interest in the project. According to a press release from Vornado, the decision to sell their interest was based on their desire to concentrate the firm's efforts on commercial development in New York and other parts of the Eastern Seaboard.
In other events that could ultimately have some impact on the Suffolk Downs Caesars Palace bid, recently the Wynn Group introduced its casino proposal with a flair, featuring artistic lighting, decorations, and Frank Sinatra music that you might expect from a Las Vegas casino promotion. Upon seeing and hearing the Wynn Group's proposal, it's fair to say that the city of Everett is definitely all in on this bid. Everett's mayor, Di Maria, recently stated in the Boston Globe article that the city is approximately 2 weeks away from completing the host community agreement and that he expects to hold a citywide referendum on the project sometime in June.
And then there is the news that the longtime mayor of Boston, Tom Menino, recently announced that he will not seek another term as mayor. Many observers are wondering how active he will be in continuing to move the casino issue along to a vote in Boston. In a related matter, the Boston Globe recently published an article indicating that the casino vote could still be put to the whole city and that there is currently only a slim margin for approval on a citywide basis. I guess we'll just have to wait and see what happens.
I guess so. At its last meeting, the Traffic Commission approved a plan to have the DPW paint bike lanes on Revere Street, making them the first bike lanes to be installed in Revere. The lanes are being installed to mark the route for a Bike to See initiative being implemented by the city's Office of Healthy Community Initiatives, along with support from a few statewide organizations. The westbound side of Revere Street will have a dedicated bike lane along the curve, while the eastbound side of the street will be marked with a bike lane that will be shared with cars traveling in that direction. Although many in attendance and members of the Traffic Commission were supportive of the initiative and the installation of the bike lanes, there were some present who voiced their concerns about the choice of Revere Street as a route. However, Kate Blackford, manager of the Healthy Community Initiatives program for the city, pointed out that statistics gathered from a 10-year crash study conducted in the city showed that the Revere Street was one of the safest streets for bikers. It was also noted that although the marked lanes won't completely protect bike riders and eliminate accidents, they will make it safer for the bike riders because drivers will be more aware of the bikers' presence than they are today.
And on the economic news front, Necco Candy is not just for conversation hearts on Valentine's Day. In light of their success from Valentine's Day, Necco opened their doors the week before Easter, from March 24th through March 30th, for such treats as Mighty Malt speckled eggs, in addition to their famous Necco wafers, Sky Bars, and Mary Janes. A quarter of all proceeds generated from the candy store went to Boston's Room to Grow charity, who focuses on enriching the lives of children born in poverty during their first 3 years of development. Nice job, Necco.
In May, our friend and fellow TV producer Morris will join 3 other Revere vets taking an honor flight to Washington, D.C. to visit the World War II Memorial. Morris will be accompanied on this trip by Charles Macklin, Eileen Marullo, and Sal Santoro, who is 99 years old. Joe Byron, founder of the Honor Flight New England, said these veterans are a true lesson in history and that they almost always never complain. He said that he is humbled to be in their company, all these veterans he meets on each trip. He goes on to say, they always say the same thing to me. They tell me, the real heroes didn't come home. We just did what we had to do. He also says that every trip he organizes is a race against time to bring as many veterans to the memorial as he can before they are no longer able to make the trip. The oldest veteran he has taken was 101 years old. Congratulations to Morris, Charles, Eileen, and Sal. You really, truly do represent the greatest generation. Enjoy your trip.
By the time we air this broadcast, Dick and Terry Waugh will be retired. Waugh's Automotive will close its doors on Saturday, April 6th. Dick Waugh took the business over from his father 51 years ago and has reported to work daily since then. The business has been a long-time fixture on the corner of Fenno Street and Broadway, where you can always see different automobiles in the showroom window, the most recent a classic Rolls-Royce. Dick Waugh has been known as always being honest and a giving individual to his customers. He did repairs for people on credit and allowed them to pay when they could, and gave major discounts to elderly customers who could not afford to pay full price. Dick was quoted in the Journal as saying, "We leave with mixed emotions. The people of Revere and the surrounding areas are just fantastic."
That's a great story.
It is.
We'll be back right after this message, and following that, we'll have Alana Pascal with her project at the high school in an interview with Debbie.
You know, a mayor has the best job in the world.
But the worst part of that job is getting that call.
Another citizen has been shot.
Another life has been lost.
Another family destroyed.
Too many tears.
Too many eulogies.
Too many funerals.
Too many memorials.
Enough.
No more families to console.
No more neighborhoods in mourning.
No more makeshift memorials.
No more guns
tearing apart our cities.
Demand a plan.
Every resident in this country needs to pick up the phone.
Washington needs to hear from you.
Citizens, not lobbyists, need to be heard.
As a mayor.
As a dad.
As an aunt.
As an uncle.
As a mom.
As a grandfather.
Demand a plan.
Demand a plan.
Demand a plan.
Demand a plan.
And we are back with our producer highlights segment, and I am here with Alana Pasco. She is from Revere High School. She is our intern at Revere TV. Alana, how did you originally hear about Revere TV or become involved with Revere TV?
Sure. Well, the summer after my freshman year, actually, I scored a job working as a business intern with Revere Beach Partnership, which is a nonprofit organization dedicated to bringing the community together at the beach. So that summer, we were getting prepared for the National Sand Sculpting Festival.
Right.
And if I remember correctly, Bob, the executive director here at Revere TV, needed some help filming just some film around the event, just like the people there, the music, the fireworks, the events, the sand sculptors. And so my manager had heard of my previous interest in photography, so he decided to give me a new taste of videography, which is, you know, before I volunteered with Revere TV, I'd only had experience with photography, but after that summer helping out the TV station film the National Sand Sculpting Festival, I got a new taste, I guess, of videography with the cameras. And so after that, I continued to volunteer with Revere TV and go around the city videotaping things, editing videos with them.
So after that, you got involved in some more projects with them, such as?
I videotaped some soccer games last year, some track meets. We videotape the Philharmonic Orchestra when they come to Revere, celebrate Revere, the fireworks, stuff like that. I also edited a highlights video for the soccer team so they could watch it at their banquet when they won the tournament, when they went to the tournament.
You better not let too many teams hear about that. Everybody will be after you for that.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. And now you're obviously an intern here at Revere TV, which we love. Talk to me a little bit about that. How did you hear about that internship, or how did that come about?
Sure. At the beginning of this year, actually, I heard about some of my friends leaving the school, going to the Rumney Marsh Academy to shadow teachers. And so that was the first I heard about this intern program, and I didn't really know much about it, but my guidance counselor stopped me in the hallway one day and told me that Revere TV was looking for an intern. I thought that's a great idea because even though I helped volunteer before, I never got that day-to-day experience of what it's like to work in a local TV studio. So now that I'm here, I'm seeing a lot more of the in-studio work rather than the on-field work. And so it's a different experience, and it's taught me a lot of what it's like to work with the TV studio.
Right, you get the experience to edit and now be on screen. And I know that you've worked on a special project for us, and
Yes,
talk
have.
to us about that.
I just finished working on my first PSA announcement, and it's to promote all of the new equipment here at Revere TV, all of the awesome cameras and the editing equipment and the green screen and the lights and everything. Yeah. And it's really amazing resources that we have in our city, and not enough people know about it. So what I actually did, I got together a couple of friends and we filmed a mock music video type thing, just to show how you can utilize the equipment. And so it was really fun to do, and yeah.
We'll be seeing that. Also, Alana, talking about the internship, how do you think that's affected your future? Have you decided what you're going to do with your future, where you're going to college?
Yes, actually I'm going to UMass Amherst next year, so I'm going to be studying communications and most likely news broadcasting. So this has given me a taste of what that's going to be like working in a studio.
So that's great. Well, we love having Alana here with us at Revere TV, and we look forward to internships in the future. And what we're going to see now is Alana's PSA.
All right, are you ready? Can you move your hand? Yeah, thanks. All right. Okay, go.
This?
No, to the right, The other right. Can you not? Stop, no, stop.
Having trouble recording rockin' videos? Did you know, right here in your own city, you have free access to a variety of video equipment, including high-definition robotic cameras, green screen walls, advanced sound and lighting technology, a virtual studio editor, and the ability to create dynamic graphics? Entertain your city with your own show on our local channel. Post-production on IMAX with Adobe Premiere and After Effects can enhance any production. You may be wondering, how can I make this happen? Become a member of Revere TV. It's easy. Sign up online at reveretv.org. Take a free class in either studio production, field production, editing, or all three. Produce your own show. Check out high-definition cameras for your own home videos. Volunteer for the city. The possibilities are endless and free. Let out your creativity with Revere TV. Located at 385 Broadway, Revere.
And now we're going to break away to the sports section of our program with Peter DiGiulio and Michael Hinojosa.
And now, for your Revere Sports Review, here's Peter DiGiulio and Mike Hinojosa.
Hi, and welcome to this edition of Revere Sports. I'm Pete DiGiulio, this is Mike Hinojosa, and we're here today to do a recap of the beginning of the spring season. I can't believe, Mike, that the spring season has already started, and the weather has not been cooperative so far.
Well, the weather hasn't, not like the last couple of years. Remember that March and April that we had last year was fantastic. But baseball and softball have gone on. They've been outside and they've been playing.
Yep. At the beginning, the track teams were in. I'm the girls' track coach at the high school, and we have a number of sports outdoors during the spring. We have boys and girls tennis, boys and girls lacrosse. We have baseball. We have softball. We have middle school softball now, and we're going to do a little recap of what's happened in the last couple of weeks.
Okay.
I'm going to start with girls tennis. Carla Maniscalco, teacher at the high school, good coach, and she gets a lot of great kids on her team. She hasn't had a great start. They lost a couple of matches, but she wants to report that her first singles player, Sarah Grujic, who's a junior, won all her matches. She won at 6-3, 6-1, and her third single player, Mei Ling Theng, who is a senior, won 6-2, 7-6, and 2-6. The next meet in the next match, they lost to Peabody, but she sees improvement every day. And in sports, Mike, all you want to do is you want to see some improvement as you go along. The first meet, the first match is going to be butterflies and stuff like that. But as long as the kids have fun and they're competitive, I mean, that's all a coach can really ask for,
Right. Well, that will roll me right into a perfect example of the softball team, and I'll kind of recap that right now. Softball team is off to a slightly slow start at 1-2, but there are things that they're building on right now that 6, 7, 8 games into the season, they're very young.
Yep.
Again, 7, 8, 10 games into the season, you can see them really starting to roll because they're very, very talented. Logan DiCarlo has gotten off to a NEC All-Star kind of start with 6 hits in the first 3 games. And
she's been playing since she was 5, Mike.
Well,
and she's a great kid,
But she is really pacing the offense. Christina Stella has a few hits, and that's where most of the offense is coming from right now. Sabrina Palermo has done a spectacular job in pitching, and she's really shouldered the whole load, and she's pitched all 21 innings of the first 3 games, and a made play here, and a hit here, a timely hit here, and they could be 2-1. So
and they're well coached. I mean, Joe's a good coach. Joe Ciccarello, another teacher at the high school.
And and again, when watching him coach, and it is very, very positive, day in, day out, positive. There's no dwelling on anything any negative error, anything. So it's been a good experience.
I mean, I think that any coach that accentuates the negative shouldn't be coaching kids.
Right.
I mean, you got to take what they do, and kids are going to make mistakes. They're not professionals, and you just go from there.
Yeah. Well, it's young. I mean, 3 freshmen have made the team, 2 are starting. There are 3 sophomores starting. I mean,
there's only a couple of seniors they have. He was talking to me the other day. We could talk about that when we do our show.
Okay.
Let's get to the track scores. Girls track coach. I'm the assistant girls track coach this year. The head track coach for girls is Rosalind Murphy. She was a great runner at Beverly High School, and then she was a very good runner at UMass Amherst, and she steps in and takes over the head coaching job. And even though the girls track team lost to Danvers, Mike, it was below freezing on that day. It was windy and cold, and everybody's hands were numb. But we had 13 people that scored at least 1 point in the meet. Brenda Rudicindo had 9 points in the meet. Caitlin Caramello, captain, had 6 points in the meet. Nikki Nelson had 5. And we had a freshman that threw the javelin 75 feet, which is great, the first time she ever throws it. And we had a bunch of other people score points in the loss, and we had 6 personal bests. So when you run track, a personal best is better than you ever did before. Right. And you can't pin it on a guy, or a girl. I mean, if they come in 6th and they did the best that they can, you just got to say, hey, tip your hat to the person that beat you.
Right.
So they've had one meet, and we run tomorrow against Winthrop at Saugus, since we don't have a track for the next couple of years. The boys' team is a different story. Jack Moscow has a machine. He has a bunch of great athletes on his team. They doubled up Danvers in score, and they're 1-0, obviously. Kareem Sahia is probably his best athlete. Scored 15 points in the meet. He's got Bobby Rose from the football team. Zach Primo's a great runner. I'm just looking at this. Joe Ritchie threw the javelin 126 feet. And he had 9 first-place finishes out of 15 events. So the boys team is off and running, no pun intended, and they run tomorrow against Winthrop, and it should be another easy win for him. What about baseball?
Baseball. I just got back from there. They're talk about a live update. 2-1 in the third. Revere is winning, but they started the season off 0-1. Tri-captains Mark Maloney, Papsadora, and Dario Santiago. Talk about 3 great kids who will do a very good job. But they lost a heartbreaker to Cambridge in extra innings, 3-2. Their first game. Noah Janes pitched a 3-hitter, who's a sophomore. So expect many wins from him in the coming season and years. So
I understand that he has a pretty good pitching staff this year, with Portrait and Noah and who else is one of the pitchers that he has? I forget the
Kyle Norton.
Yeah, Kyle Norton.
Yep.
Yep.
No, their pitching staff is going to be very strong. It's going to be the strength of their thing. You know, Tommy Portrait, he's young too. He's only a junior now. And that's where, I think that's where their wins will come from. Although, again, cold weather today, they're hitting the ball. Tommy Portrait hit a ball off the fence in the second inning. So,
well, I mean, there's no way to go but up with that program, really. So this guy's got him cooking. He's got him excited about baseball again, and that's a step in the right direction.
Well, the coach is Nick Fagus, a Watertown guy, and then Sean Brinkley, who is a Malden guy, who I used to play baseball with. Really has the pulse of the team, being the assistant coach, but he's a player's coach. He very instructional, getting a lot of good stuff from, and reports from parents too who like him.
Well, good. I mean, that's a big thing, that the parents are on base with the coach.
Yep.
No pun intended again. Okay, lacrosse. It's a new program in Revere. This is the first year that we have varsity teams. Last year, the girls lacrosse team was very successful, 10-1. The boys team was 8-3. The girls coach is Katie Zabel. She's a teacher at the Paul Revere School, played in college. She looks younger than the kids. And she does a great job keeping these kids in line. In the first game of the season, they played Pope John, and they won 8-3. Amy Rotker, Helen Davis, and Paula Ortez all scored 2 goals. Rachel DeSantis and Lee Chen Cray scored 1 goal apiece, and Janice DeStefano made 28 saves in goal.
That's a lot.
So, it's a hard sport to learn. I'm still trying to learn the rules myself, but it's a lot like basketball, Mike. Passing the ball, playing defense, anticipating the passing lane. And once the kids learn how to do that, the first thing they have to learn how to do is catch the thing with the little net that they have on the end of the stick. I mean, so they've done a great job. Stevie Magno was the boys' coach last year, but this year it's been taken over by Mike Guampi and his assistant, Nick Pundiff. The boys' lacrosse team has a lot of great athletes. But even great athletes have a hard time learning the game, running and catching with that stick, and then keeping it in the stick, because I noticed that the turnover rate is similar to the basketball turnover rate. The person that has the ball the most turns it over the most, because somebody's whacking at you with a stick while you're trying to cradle it and all this stuff. So I think these kids are going to be all right. They're 0-2 so far. They lost to a really good Matignon team, 7-5, last Saturday. They were behind 5-0, and then they came out in the second half and they scored 3 goals in the fourth quarter to cut it to 7-5, and then they just ran out of time. Jason Siegel had 2 goals. Stevie Piazza, Brian McNitt, and Michael Driesen had a goal apiece. And Doug Zingali is getting pelted in the goal. He really is. I mean, he just does a great job. I honestly, I've known the kid since he was 2. I mean, I didn't think that he was going to be quick enough in goal, but he is, and he's doing a fantastic job. In the second game, unfortunately, he had like 50 shots put on him. He let 12 in. and they lost 12-3. It was a blowout. In the first game, the defense did a great job. You know, some of the guys that played defense, Andrew Coots, who was the captain of the football team, Kyle Gotham, who was on the football team. These guys never played lacrosse before, but they're big physical kids. Austin Powers, he's about 6'6", 6'5", you know, and he plays back there, and he's got a long stick, so he covers a lot of field. Ben, my son Ben, plays defensive midi. You know, he's trying to hit people, and they're just learning how to get into the flow of the game. You know, Stevie Piazza is an experienced player, played at Pope John for, you know, 2 years before these kids ever played before.
Even before they picked up a stick, right?
Yeah, in the 12-3 blowout, the inexperience showed. The defense let down a little bit in front of the goal, and they made a lot of turnovers. And in basketball, the team with the most turnovers usually loses the game, and that's what happened to us in that game. You know, if you weren't named Steve, you didn't score, because Stevie Piazza scored 2. And freshman Stevie Noel came in for like 5 seconds. They put him in the game because it was a blowout, and he scores right off the bat. So 2 kids named Steve scored, and they play at Manning Bowl under the lights tomorrow night, which is against a Lynn team that's a combination of classical and English. So let's hope that they get on the scoreboard with a win.
I would like to mention in lacrosse, too, that Steve Magno, I know he said he stepped down, but is the coach of the middle school program. I say middle school in the sense that we are now running a middle school type of lacrosse program.
Yeah, he started a middle school program, which is going to be a feeder program for the varsity program.
Yep.
Finally, last week, Sean Hart, the athletic director, calls me. I'm kind of the athletic director for the athletic coordinator for middle school sports, and he says, we have a softball team, like out of nowhere. Yeah. We had a tryout the next day, and then they had a game last Friday, which, you know, they romped. They beat Medford 18-2. Bunch of 7th and 8th graders playing a freshman schedule. You were involved with that before. I guess Victoria Popolo just threw peas at the girls from Medford. And Alina Giuliano and Victoria Correa had 4 RBIs apiece in the game. Coach Richie McManus said they played a great defensive game. The infield played really well. And we see nothing but bright things for this middle school team. They play again on Friday at Beverly. It's supposed to rain, but we'll keep you posted. Be proud of your kids. Revere is a great place to live, great place to play sports, and we have good kids playing sports for us. So there's the recap so far of I know we go long all the time because I have a big mouth, but that's a recap of what's been happening so far in the spring. We'll be back to you again on our next report after we play a couple of more games. This is Pete DiGiulio and Mike Hinojosa saying drive safely. Take care.
Good night.
And we are back. On Thursday, March 28th, Revere High School held their junior prom at the Danversport Yacht Club. Approximately 300 juniors danced the night away without incident, except for a missing cell phone. Stephen Magno, the vice principal for the juniors, said, the prom went great. The kids represented Revere well. I started with them as a freshman 3 years ago, and it's truly amazing how much they've grown into young adults. It was nice to see the prom court made up of highly intelligent, hardworking students and not just the most popular. Speaking of the prom court, Diego Bazan was the king, runner-up was Ben DiGiulio, and Cassandra DeBella was the queen. If the name DeBella sounds familiar, it's because Cassandra is the daughter of Maureen Walsh DeBella, the assistant marketing director of our own Revere Journal. Interesting to note, Ed, is that Maureen was also the senior prom queen of RHS in 1980, okay? So I guess it's true, like mother, like daughter.
Well, that does it for this week's edition of the Revere Review.
Once again, thanks to the Revere Journal and the Revere Advocate for providing photos and information for our stories. And if you have a news story, an event, an idea that you want covered on the show, give us a call, send us an email, or send us a tweet.
And if you really want to have some fun and help produce the show, come by the studios and see how easy and fun it can be.
Thank you all for watching. We sincerely hope that you found the program to be entertaining as well as informational. For Revere TV, your community source, I'm Debbie Pesca DiGiulio.
And I'm Ed DeVoe. And until next time,
take care.